the same threat actor is responsible for both of these incidents. However, PowerSchool shared in a statement that they released earlier today that they do not believe that a second data breach has occurred because this involves the same data set. These messages and threats have not been isolated to North Carolina. PowerSchool customers across their global database have reported receiving these messages as well. We have certainly notified law enforcement and know that they are actively investigating this matter. At the time of the original incident notification in January of this year, PowerSchool did assure its customers that the compromised data would not be shared and had been destroyed. Unfortunately, that, at least at this point, is proving to be incorrect. PowerSchool, as they have acknowledged, is the responsible party for this breach. And as we have shared before, there was nothing that the Department of Public Instruction, school districts, or individual schools could have done to prevent these violations. Now, I will note that PowerSchool's contract with North Carolina for the student information system ends this summer. On July the 1st, all public school units, which include our district schools and our charter schools, will begin using Infinite Campus as their student information system. Infinite Campus was chosen for a number of reasons, but in part because they certainly have a more modern, comprehensive solution that will support our students, parents, and educators across the state. We also deeply investigated Infinite Campus's security practices and are pleased with how they are designed. Here in North Carolina, we certainly take protecting educator and student data very seriously. There are a number of things that we do with vendors, and when Dr. Wren is able to join us, I'm sure she'll add to that. But please know that we remain committed to ensuring that all schools have the information and support that they need. Now, I do want to express my regret to our students, parents, teachers, and school and district members that have been affected by this incident. I want you all to know that we support you and are working to ensure that your personal information isn't further compromised. All of us here at DPI take data privacy very seriously. It is certainly unacceptable that these families and public servants have had their data compromised again and are going through what we just went through a few months ago. It is completely unfortunate that the perpetrators are preying on innocent children and dedicated public servants. We are, as I mentioned earlier, working closely with law enforcement to try to do everything we can do to be sure that the responsible parties are held accountable for their actions. Again, DPI has notified all of our public school units of this information incident and certainly are providing ongoing support. We've also indicated, and I do want to be sure that folks know this, that might be listening in, that we have advised anyone who that received a message from the threat actor that they do not engage with that threat actor. Rather, it'd be better for them to report this incident to the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, and in particular, the cybersecurity team immediately. I certainly want to thank our cybersecurity team that are led by my colleague, Dr. Vanessa Wren, and school and district staff members for their quick response to this situation. We're also grateful to our law enforcement officers at the Federal Bureau of Investigation who are diligently investigating this matter. I would also be remiss if I did not mention that the North Carolina Local Government Information Volunteer Cyber Strike Team is assisting DPI in confirming the validity of the data shared by the threat actors. So now this particular incident is ongoing. But I'm going to now, I think I now see Dr. Wren. I'm going to turn it back to her and let her share anything that she'd like to before we open it up to any questions that y'all may have. Dr. Wren?
Thank you, Superintendent Green, and thank you for sharing that information. We have worked to be as transparent as possible as this data and information has come available to us. What we do know is about 20 of our LEAs did receive an email this morning. And that email was from a threat actor that showed some evidence of having the same data that was breached in January. And so we are working with those schools, and we have also set up a way for schools who receive any other notification to reach out to us as well. And we'll continue to support them through that. Again, I'm going to echo how unfortunate this entire incident has been, but we'll also say that we are very pleased with the review of all of our contracts that hold any sensitive data and how those are being handled by our vendors. We use many software as a service vendors, and we do make sure they meet the state security standards. But we are ongoing reviewing for diligence in this area as well.
Great. So at this point, Jeannie, I will turn it over to you to handle how we will have questions, if there are any.
Absolutely. If y'all would have a question, we would appreciate it if you would raise your Zoom hand. First question, I see we have one from Jonathan Lowe with WSOC. Jonathan, go ahead.
And so if Jonathan is still on mute, I cannot hear him. So Jonathan, I cannot hear you, and so we're going to go to another person.
Let's go with AP Dillon next, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. Quick question. You did say that the FBI was investigating. Are other legal actions being considered against PowerSchool by DPI or the state involving this matter?
Yeah, so as I think had been reported earlier, the North Carolina Attorney General was also investigating this incident when it first occurred, and they were going to make a decision about whether they were going to bring any sort of action. And so we will certainly communicate this information to them as well as they are going about making whatever decision they're going to make with regards to legal action. And they would be doing that on behalf of the Department of Public Instruction, State Board of Education, North Carolina as well.
All right. If we can go next to Bianca Holman with ABC 11.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my question. Since this seems to have been the same data set from the January breach there, is it possible that, hey, this could happen again? Another bad actor or the same organization or groups of people that are doing this, that this could be at risk. And then also, I remember, Mrs. Wren, earlier, we talked earlier when this did occur that you said there is kind of credit monitoring being offered. So can you kind of speak to some solutions that are in place to help people if they get these messages and whatnot again?
Yeah, so let me take the first part of your question first. Is it possible that this happens again? We addressed earlier that this is the exact same data set. We cannot confirm if it's the exact same threat actor with the same data or a different threat actor. In our conversations with PowerSchool, they have indications it is the same threat actor, but they cannot verify that. So if this could happen again, it's somewhat an unknown now. But what we do know is that data is not destroyed and it is out there. There is credit monitoring and identity theft protection available. That is open until July 31st, and it is at no cost to any one of our educators, present and past, and any one of our students and their families, present and past. We have that information on our website, how to click the link and put in the code and sign up for credit monitoring and identity theft protection. And even though that is currently slated to close on July 31st, we are in conversations with PowerSchool to have that open and available much longer. But at this time, PowerSchool has agreed to have that open until July 31st, and we'll keep advocating for an extension in how long that window stays open. So we appreciate all of your help and getting that information out there and encouraging anyone who even thinks they have been impacted by this to sign up for credit monitoring and identity theft protection. Those are some of the best tools to us to ensure that even if our data has been exposed, we are protecting ourselves in the way we know we can.
Thanks, Vanessa. Next, we've got a question from Kara Peters with WXII.
Hello. Yes, thank you for taking my message as well. I have a clarification, something to clarify, and an additional question. Dr. Wren, you just mentioned that it's the same data set this time around, but you cannot confirm if it's the same threat actors. So that means it's the same victims as well, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. We did confirm the counts of data, and the data counts match what we confirmed happened back in January, but we can't confirm if it's the same threat actor. Again, in our conversations with PowerSchool, they think it is the same because the names are very similar, but are slightly different, but cannot confirm that. And it's the same data set, but cannot confirm that for certain.
Thank you for that. And something that Superintendent Green mentioned earlier, that you all do not believe that a second data breach has occurred. So what makes this incident different than the 2024 breach?
Yeah, so what I would just lift up is in this incident, in this situation, the threat actor communicated directly with schools and the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And again, they've done this not only with us, but with other end users, if you will, as well. So other districts across the globe have also experienced this as well. So we're not alone. But this is, as opposed to them communicating in the first incident directly with PowerSchool and PowerSchool working directly with them. In this instance, they communicated directly with some of our schools and with some folks here at the Department of Public Instruction. So that's what makes this a bit different than the first time. I'll turn to Dr. Wren to see if there's anything that she would want to add to that.
That was an accurate response. That is what makes this different. And so it's the same tactic, just a different audience. But other than that, it is the same type of extortion, saying, hey, we have your data, and looking to gain from having access to that data.
Thank you. Next, we have a question from WSOC from Jonathan. And his question is, can you provide any more specifics about the threat the LEAs received this morning? Were students or families contacted?
We do not have any evidence of students or families being contacted. We received about 50 emails to various employees here at the Department of Public Instruction and confirmed that 20 local education agencies were contacted through various emails. We could not find any type of trend in who they picked to email. We tend to think it's emails that they could publicly find and contacted that person, but we did determine that it was 20 different LEAs that we have been notified of and that we have verification of have been contacted. As shared earlier, we do know that this has been broadly, the exact same communication has been sent to other school districts and other states across the United States today and yesterday, and broadly across the globe 2 days earlier. It tends to be the exact same message and the exact same methodology coming from the same threat actor.
Thank you. We're going to take a question from Emily Walkenhorst and then from databreaches.net. And then we're going to wrap up with one final question from WSOC, and that's about all time we're going to have time for today. Emily asked, what is the threat actor asking for, and where specifically should people report if they receive an email?
The threat actor has asked for Bitcoin in exchange for the data, and the second